Dr. Porter, I have a couple of questions for you. I agree with your advanced statements that it's critical that lab directors have the flexibility to adapt to rapidly changing environments, and particularly when it comes to actually shaping their workforce. Do you agree that it makes sense for lab directors to have direct hiring authority over the personnel that they oversee, rather than having to go all the way to headquarters for approval on those personnel decisions?
So, Senator, I'm not as deep into that particular topic as I need to be, and if confirmed, I'd like to get into that much more deeply, because I agree with you that the flexibility is certainly necessary, particularly in today's environment where it's so competitive to hire talent.
We are constantly in a position of competing for talent with Silicon Valley, with many other entities that can offer a lot in terms of incentives. This committee, to its credit, has provided direct hiring authorities, but implementation, I have to say, has been painfully slow. So if confirmed, I just urge you to look at those policies. We had an emerging threats and capabilities subcommittee hearing a few weeks ago, and Dr. Griffin laid out an ambitious plan for developing and fielding a number of directed energy weapons in the next decade. Those speak directly to the issues of a new offset, a third offset, however you want to phrase it, that Senator Kane raised in his questions. Do you support the development of directed energy weapon systems, and what are your thoughts in particular on that line of research?
Yes, Senator, I do, and I actually was able to read the transcripts of that hearing, and I think Dr. Griffin spoke very eloquently about the need to address that, and across the board, as he said, right, ground,
Right.
land,
Yep.
air-based. How do we address that problem? And yes, I support it completely.
How do you think we can establish, and you touched on this a little bit, and I appreciate it, we cannot punish failure, because when you're testing to failure, you're actually testing the limits. We need to do that.
Absolutely.
How do we establish a culture of persistence that doesn't kill a program with great potential at the first technological challenge or setback?
I think it comes from leadership from the top, right? People will follow how their leaders set the standards for the expectations. If the leadership at the top allows for that failure, that experimentation, the pushing the boundaries, then it will flow down.
I was also encouraged by your comments on establishing a culture of execution that really embraces the use of disciplined experimentation and prototyping to quickly drive down technological risk. And when you do that, sometimes you fail.
Correct.
That's part of the process. But all too often, emerging technologies don't make it from one side of the so-called valley of death to the other. But they die due to endless pursuit of perfection in the lab,
Yes.
not because they aren't good technologies and useful and
Yes.
fieldable technologies. So what kind of policies are you thinking about that could encourage operational prototyping, increase speed of delivery, get things out the other side and into the hands of an actual operator?
So this is something I have a great passion for, that I intend to work, if confirmed, with the Undersecretary. This is something he shares the same passion for, and I think we do need to look, how do we encourage, how do we incentivize that behavior you're alluding to? Stop polishing the apple. It's good enough. You got to get it out. As a former scientist, I understand the compulsion for perfection. However, it can lead to, obviously, the reality of you've delivered perfection too late is no good. Right?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.